Stop with the questions. Celebrate.
And then they say, is Donald Trump an intellectual? Trust me, I'm like a smart person. Yosemite's one of the wettest we've ever seen from the standpoint of water.
Mike Lindell's a conspiracy.
But you haven't. Person, woman, man, camera, TV. They said nobody gets it in order. It's actually not that easy, but for me it was easy.
Amazing.
He can't sit down. He's got a burning in his butthole. He's got a fire. He's got a flame coming out of his butthole.
Big, massive dumps.
Oh, I have a term for that. I call it corporate communism.
Somebody sent me a thing this morning where they're talking about putting the vaccine into salad dressing.
You see, this is a simple meme that you would find on the internet, but this meme is very real.
You ain't seen nothing yet until you see the flaming butthole.
Putting us on our knees to China.
Now witness the firepower of this fully armed and operational battle station.
God bless you.
Around the nation, Waldorf Nation. What's up, everybody? It's Wednesday. It's midweek. It's hump day. And we got a show for you all today. We got a good one, actually. So many interesting video clips. We're going to break down Marjorie Greene, of course, her fake sympathy, her fake concern trolling for the victims of gun violence. We're going to dive into that. We're also going to talk about the armed man that has threatened Justice Brett Kavanaugh. So that's something that has happened as well. We're going to get into the motivations. Of course, we're going to talk about that situation. Yeah, look, political violence, not good. And our show is full of political violence. In fact, the last segment that we have today is a left-wing, I guess, activist. He decided to go to a Republican event. How did it turn out? Well, we got plenty of video on that. So we're going to do that. But first, we are going to, of course, talk about Ted Cruz. That is an interesting story as well, running away from reporters as usual. And I'm going to show you that, of course, that entire thing. So, all right, that said, please like and share the stream. Very important that you do so. I almost said scream. Yeah. Did I see the silence from the Committee on the Uvalde Survivor? It was BAMF worthy. I did not see that, but I did not watch, get a chance to watch the hearings today, but you know, I'm sure there's going to be some moments that we'll talk about tomorrow on the show, going over some of the videos that have come out today. So look, already I'm aware of the person, the survivor that you're talking about. I believe her name is Mia, and the one who had to cover herself with her friend's blood in order to survive, to make sure that she wasn't shot. And it's just, I mean, look, these are horrifying accounts, horrifying stories. And again, if you're allowing the weapons that continue to be used in all of these school massacres to go unchecked, It's monstrous. Absolutely monstrous. They'll call her a crisis actor soon enough. I'm not surprised. They probably already have. I mean, Alex Jones, I haven't checked in on him, in a while. But, I wouldn't be surprised if he began doing that. So, yes, because having to smear your bestie's blood on you is not damaging to children. Says Amanda's Miracle Chipmunk Milk. But you know what is damaging to children, Amanda? It is critical race theory. It's critical race theory. Oh, and also drag queens. Though that's the real danger to the children's, if you ask Republicans. Yeah. All right. So, look, we got again depressing / fun stories. I don't know how it could be both at the same time, but trust me, we'll do that. So stick around. Let's dive into it. Start with Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz likes to run from things. He's very, very good at running, whether it be from Donald Trump after Trump mocked his wife. And not only did, of course, Ted Cruz just, run, first running to the donors, who then told him, Ted, you are our bitch, and we say that you're going to bow down to Donald Trump, that you're going to run from attacking him. But he also ran from the state of Texas itself during a blizzard that killed hundreds, over 200 people, after knocking out their completely deregulated power grid. And now, in this case, from a reporter asking questions about gun control. Take a look.
Is this the moment to reform gun laws?
It's easy to go to politics.
But it's important. It's at the heart of the issue.
I get that that's where the media likes to go.
No, it's not. It's where many of the people we've talked to here like to go.
The proposals from Democrats in the media, inevitably, when some violent psychopath murders people.
A violent psychopath who's able to get a weapon so easily. 18-year-old with 2 AR-15s.
If you want to stop violent crime, the proposals the Democrats have, none of them would have stopped this.
But why does this only happen in your country? I really think that's what many people around the world they cannot fathom. Why only in America? Why is this American exceptionalism so awful?
I'm sorry you think American exceptionalism is awful.
I think this aspect of it.
You got your political agenda.
No, it's honestly,
God love you.
Senator, it's not. I just want to understand why you do not think that guns are the problem.
Why is this just an American problem?
Well, it is just an American problem, sir.
Mr. Cruz, why is America the only country that faces this kind of mass shooting?
But you can't answer that. You can't answer that, can you, sir? You can't answer that. Why is this country?
Why is it that people come from all over the world to America? Because it's the freest, most prosperous, safest country on earth.
It may be the freest. It may be the most.
Why are our kids dying in school?
Man, it's good to know that our elected officials are so incredibly cowardly as to run away from reporters as soon as the questions get uncomfortable on an issue that the majority of this country actually wants some real solutions to. But no. He says, well, it's easy to go political on an issue. Hey, Ted, that's literally your job, dude. You do politics. That's your job. Which, by the way, he also was supposed to do policy. And look, whenever they make that ridiculous argument, you're just making these things political. But you can't really divorce politics and policy. You have to do the politics in order to get the policy. And again, what the American people are doing right now, in vast majorities, is telling you, hey, Ted, do your job and pass some policy to protect our children. That's it. And again, I've got the polling to back that up. According to a new ABC News Ipsos poll, 7 out of 10 Americans say that new legislation that would reduce gun violence should be prioritized over protecting gun rights. So let's go 7 out of 10, 70% of Americans say, let's do some gun control measures. Now, what kind of measures? Universal background checks. You know what the polling is on that? 88% of voters support it in the most recent polls. 87% of Americans want restrictions on gun ownership for those with mental health issues. Now, again, we can go to the nuance and how, of course, just doing blanket like, oh, you've got a mental health issue, that's not going to solve the problem necessarily. And of course, there are loopholes or and other things that have to be considered. But nonetheless, in a lot of cases, I think that would actually help reduce gun violence. But anyway, there's more polling. 79% opposed concealed carry without a permit. You realize that that is the law of the land in many red states, where you can just go and just buy a gun. You don't need a permit, and you can conceal carry. 77% of Americans support red flag laws that are initiated by members of the family. So it's kind of like a protective order that restricts people from getting guns on a temporary basis in case they might be a harm to others or themselves. 70% say support the police initiating the red flag laws. 64% want to ban high-capacity magazines. 63% support a ban on military-style assault weapons like the AR-15, used in Uvalde and Buffalo and many of these different mass shootings. There is massive support for tightening gun laws. And yet, what do Republicans do after every single mass shooting? What do they do? They actually reduce gun laws. They pass looser gun laws, and of course, they urge people to go and buy more guns. The Democrats are coming for your guns. Obama's coming for your gun. You remember that? Did he come for your guns? No, he didn't. And people bought more and more and more guns, which guess what leads to more gun violence. In fact, look, we have more guns than anyone else. And of course, we have more gun violence. It's not hard. This is a chart. We, again, way more guns than pretty much every other country combined. And would you look at that? Of course, more gun deaths. In fact, gun violence kills more young people than car accidents, the number one cause of death for people aged 1 through 24. And so here, again, you have guns that are killing our kids. Now, you compare that, by the way, to other countries. And you have children in America that are vastly more likely to be killed by people with a gun in gun violence. Hey, Ted Cruz, if more guns made us safer, which it is obviously not, the United States would be the most safest place on the planet. Seriously. And again, I don't know if you've heard this argument. You probably have. This idiotic argument that, oh, you know what? If the Chinese invade, you're going to need your guns to defend your home, to defend your homeland. Do you not know that we have nuclear weapons? We have drones. We have the most well-funded military on the planet. Billions and billions and billions of dollars more than every other country combined. We spend more every year in the military. Are you serious? Now, look, I understand the Chinese have a very large military, right? But what makes you think that if there is a country with all the money and weapons and arms we give to the Pentagon every single year, that if there were an army out there capable of basically overcoming our military might at home, as advanced and well-funded we are, then what makes you think that your little LARPy friends, Meal Team 6, armed with AR-15s, is going to stop? You think that you're going to stop them? I got news for you, buddy. You're a moron. You are not living in reality. You are not freaking Rambo. Rambo is a movie. It's fiction. It's not real. You know what is real? Dead children. Dead children from gun violence. That is very real. Very real. But with Ted Cruz and these Republican clowns, they know all this. They know the facts. The facts don't lie. which is why they have to run away. They cannot justify their positions, which are absolutely out of step with the majority and really only serve to protect the gun manufacturers, lobbyists, and of course, the most important people that are being protected right now by people like Ted Cruz are the potential future mass shooters. Which generally, I'm not saying in every circumstance, but generally tend to be either right-wing or young white males. So, yeah, no, fuck Ted Cruz. What an absolute disgusting clown. And let me just say,
God bless you.
It's my new favorite soundboard. All right. Let's move on. Guns don't kill people, doors kill people. Oh, by the way, thank you, TYT, for the raid. 163 viewers. Really appreciate that. And thank you to all the new follows. Please hit that follow button. All right. An armed man was arrested early on Wednesday near the home of Justice Brett Kavanaugh. So apparently this man had also been making threats against the Supreme Court justice, according to the New York Times. So now it's the New York Times, Washington Post, and according to a spokeswoman for the court, the man who was arrested around 1:50 in the morning was armed with a weapon. So far, don't know what that weapon was. If it was a handgun, if it was a long gun, or an assault rifle, we don't know. They did not specify. Look, I'm kind of curious to know, but it doesn't really matter. Now, the man who is from California was arrested without incident near his home in Maryland, which is outside of Washington, according to Shira Goff, a spokeswoman for the Montgomery County Police Department. That man did not even make it onto Kavanaugh's property. My understanding, she said, is that he was just in the area. Right. With a gun. Now, according to the Washington Post, two people familiar with the investigation said the initial evidence indicates that man was angry about the leaked draft of an opinion by the Supreme Court, signaling that the court is prepared to overturn Roe v. Wade. So, again, here we have a situation where you have somebody who's understandably upset about reproductive rights in this country and how the Supreme Court is getting ready to strip millions of people of those rights, but then goes down the path of, I'm going to get a gun. Now, I think that's the wrong path to go down. I don't think violence is the answer. Now, police were apparently notified that the person might pose a threat to the justice, but not immediately clear who provided that initial tip. Goff also told the Post to believe this person came in from out of state with the intent to kill Kavanaugh. Now, look, I'm going to say it, even though I don't have to, but yeah, good job by the cops, right? Sure. As much as I despise Brett Kavanaugh, I don't wish him bodily harm. Obviously not. And again, his intentions to strip reproductive rights from millions of people, not in favor of. But I also am not, at all an advocate for violence. I think, yes, physical violence, killing people, that's bad. That's a terrible thing. And by the way, this man was in his 20s, saw a recent poll indicating that young Democratic men, as well as young Republican men, are more likely to support assassinating members of the other side. So this is very, very dangerous. You have a situation where young men, and by the way, older Republican men and older Democratic men, as well as older Republican women and older Democratic women, are not at all in this. It's just young men from both sides that are, and again, I hate doing the both sides thing, but again, you look at the polls, 47% of Democratic young men say, oh yeah, violence, totally fine, against our political opponents, and 47% of young Republican men saying the same thing. We got a real problem here. We got a real problem with potential political violence. This is not good. Not good at all. So now that said, I will note that as soon as police got a tip that the gunman was going to go after someone powerful, Supreme Court Justice, immediately they rush in to protect him. Immediately. When it comes to mass shooters in schools, for example, not always so quick, as we saw in Uvalde. Wouldn't it be nice if the police actually were supposed to protect everyone except for, it would be nice if they protect everyone instead of what they already do, which is property and, of course, powerful people. Okay? Or would it even be better if people like that wouldn't be able to as easily get a gun? Well, I know, perish the thought, right? Perish the thought. Now, again, there are gun laws in California, but again, all you have to do is do what this guy did. Travel to another state, get your hands on a gun that you intend to use against whoever, a Supreme Court justice, or a politician that you might not agree with, or whatever, an abortion doctor even, or somebody, for example, the Tulsa shooting, a doctor who you feel wronged by, and go and shoot them. And that's what happens when you have easy access to weaponry. And again, the police, if you're a regular person, are not going to protect you. They have no responsibility, no duty to protect average people. But you see this, they rush to protect the powerful over the powerless. And again, oftentimes we've also seen the police be used as a weapon against the powerless. And it's people like Brett Kavanaugh, ironically, who allowed this to happen. Not ironically, no. All these conservative justices, the Heritage Foundation, these think tanks, they're all about that. Yes, using the police as a tool to crack down on powerless people while protecting the powerful. So, that said, I'm glad he wasn't murdered, but this will undoubtedly lead to some negative consequences. For example, more of a fortifying of certain members of the court by law enforcement, the conservative members of the court, of course. And I could see this definitely shutting down or being used as a pretext to shut down legitimately peaceful protests, like the ones that were happening in front of these justices' house. Remember, this did not happen during one of these protests. This was at almost 2 a.m. where this guy comes up and tries to enter his property. Now, that said, Republicans, for example, Governor Larry Hogan, said in a statement on Wednesday that he had asked Attorney General Merrick Garland to increase security outside the justices' homes, which, by the way, immediately sailed right through the Senate, hasn't gone past the House yet. He said, I call on leaders in both parties in Washington to strongly condemn these actions in no uncertain terms. It is vital to our constitutional system that the justices be able to carry out their duties without fear of violence against them and their families. In a bulletin released on Tuesday, the Department of Homeland Security said that after the publication of the leaked draft, advocates for and against abortion rights have, quote-unquote, encouraged violence on public forums, including against government, religious, and reproductive healthcare personnel and facilities, as well as those with opposing ideologies. And yet here we are, right? So, understand in this country, we are incredibly polarized. And yet, at the same time, you have a Congress that will not pass common sense gun regulation. Or actually do anything, by the way, to help the American people, to reduce that polarization. So this is what I fear happening. The right will use this situation to claim that all pro-choice people are violent psychopaths, like this guy. And then Fox News, of course, they'll talk about it endlessly. Mainstream media will back the idea that, oh no, the court needs to be protected from from the fringe far left. And we'll call on every single Democrat, by the way, to apologize profusely to the right wing, and they will do so. They will do it. They will do it. They'll even also probably take up a vote very, very soon for more security for the justices and the court. And then, will likely, of course, the spillover for that will end up targeting legitimate peaceful protests using overwhelming force. In fact, look, they've already started. The right wing has. Ben Sasse, Republican from Nebraska, said in a statement that President Biden, quote, needs to personally and forcefully condemn violence and threats against Supreme Court justices. It's Ben Sasse. Then you have the Daily Wire. His one host, Michael Knowles, tweeted this, quote, it should go without saying, but the gun-toting leftist showing up at Brett Kavanaugh's house in the middle of the night to kill him and possibly his entire family is much, much worse than January 6th. What? I'm sorry. No. Hold on. What? This was an attempted overthrow of our country. These are both bad situations. Pretty sure. Threatening to, try to murder the vice president at the time. And going into Congress to chase after and even attempt to capture and even execute. So we've seen plans. If they had gotten their hands on AOC or Nancy Pelosi, it would have been over. Would have been over for them. Ridiculous. And then you have Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell is now calling on Democrats to pass the Supreme Court security bill, saying, House Democrats must pass this bill, and they need to do it today. No more fiddling around with this. They need to pass it today before the sun sets. And you know what? They probably will. They probably will, because again, they will immediately browbeat the Democrats into saying, oh, you don't care about the people in power. And of course, the Democrats always care about the people in power. In fact, they prioritize people in power. So, and yet, again, the same people saying we need immediate security for Supreme Court justices will refuse to do anything about children that are being gunned down in this country by mass shooters. To prevent people like the Uvalde mass shooter, the Buffalo mass shooter, the Tulsa mass shooter, and now this attempted shooter from getting their hands on a weapon. And look, we've had over 20 mass shootings since then, since Uvalde. But no, we're not going to move on that at all. But when it comes to protecting the powerful, when it comes to protecting our own, well, that's when we act, and we act super fast. Not surprising at all. All right. Moving on. Let's go to Marjorie Greene. In the wake of many high-profile mass shootings, members of Congress keep trying to find a way to deflect from calls for certain gun regulations. In fact, here's Marjorie Greene saying that, look, we don't need gun control. No. What America needs is sin control.
We don't have a gun problem in America. We have a sin problem. And no gun control law passed and signed into law and enforced will stop these things from happening because they're already illegal.
Oh, you hear that, everybody? Murder, already illegal. Shooting people, already illegal, unless it's a black person, or unless they throw a plastic bag at you. But otherwise, yeah, totally illegal. Murdering people, illegal. So I guess that what we need to do for Marjorie Greene is find every would-be school shooter and just be like, hey, did you know that's illegal? You don't do that. You better not do that. That's naughty. And of course, upon hearing that, they'll immediately go, oh, you know what? I'm sorry. You're right. You're right. Totally illegal. Not going to do it. It's just that easy. You know, if you're stupid, if you're not a smart person, if you're, I don't know, a moron.
Peachtree dish.
Okay. All right. But look, those of us who live in the real world, we all know that Marjorie Greene is full of shit. Yes. Hey, Marge, we do have a gun problem. We have weapons that are easily accessible for anybody at any time. Guess what? We have guns on demand. They want to talk about abortion on demand. We have guns on demand. Maybe we could just, change the name of a mass shooting to a post-birth abortion. Guns are the instrument of performing post-birth abortions. There you go. There you go. Solved it. Solved the messaging problem. But no, guns on demand. If you want to get a gun, all you have to do is, again, go to a gun shop and just buy it. In a lot of places, you don't have a federal background check. You can go to a gun show. You can go to different places. You can buy it from a private seller that doesn't have to be federally licensed and doesn't have to give you a background check. In a lot of ways, a lot of places, it is easier for you to get a gun than it is to get health care. You have a limit on buying on how much Sudafed that you can buy, but not on how many guns you can buy. You can buy as many guns as you want. But you have to wait to buy medication. You have a waiting period for abortions. But you don't have a waiting period for a gun. In other countries, by the way, they don't have the gun problem. Not the way that we have. They have vastly fewer mass shootings than we do here. And again, you know why? Because they actually have gun laws. Yes, they have other laws which say that, oh, killing people, murder is bad. Hey, did you know crime was a crime? Yes, I knew that. But some of these laws actually made it more difficult for people to get the instruments they use in these crimes. They banned, in many places, semi-automatic assault military-style weapons, right? High-capacity magazines. There's strict requirements on who can buy guns. And also, they have regulations on how they're supposed to be stored. They also have strict requirements and bans on handguns in some cases. Some states. You know what we don't have? None of that. We don't have any of that. So, I remember when this country actually did have an assault weapons ban. From 1994 to 2004, you know what happened? Mass shootings decreased by 37%. After 2004, when the assault weapons ban expired, everybody went and bought those guns, and mass shootings rose by 183%. When it comes to large capacity magazines, the numbers are also quite relevant. In fact, this is according to Louis Claravas, a research professor at Teachers College at Columbia, saying when LCMs were involved, the average death toll for gun massacres increased by 62%. Jurisdictions that did not have LCM bans in place experienced a 129% increase in the incidence rate and a 206% increase in the fatality rate of gun massacres. Then we also have a 2020 study of state gun laws that found this. State laws requiring a permit to purchase a firearm, which includes a background check on all purchases, are associated with a 60% lower odds of a mass public shooting occurring. Weird. Bans on large capacity magazines are associated with 38% fewer fatalities and 77% fewer non-fatal injuries when a mass shooting did occur. Those laws, turns out, they do have an impact. Because we see what works in other places. If only we could do some of what they do elsewhere, here we could stop not all of them, but a majority of mass shootings. But see, Marjorie Greene, well, no, she has a different idea. on what we should actually do. Here's that.
So what we need to do is we need to come together as a nation. We need to return to God. We need to return to our foundational principles that we know protect kids. That is protecting kids the same way Nancy Pelosi protects herself in the Capitol. That's protecting kids the same way our president is protected. That is protecting kids and doing everything we can with good guys with guns who are willing to act and won't stand by like cowards.
Oh, well, okay, well, that's it. Obviously, gonna bring it back to God. You know, because God's doing such a great job right now. Oh, and more security guards, you know, like Nancy Pelosi and all these other public figures. Right. Okay. Now, again, one is a nonsense talking point. And the other, it's already been done, and it doesn't work. Armed guards failed to stop a shooter in Parkland. Failed to stop a shooter in Uvalde. Failed to stop a shooter in Buffalo. Those are the most recent examples. And you know why? Because oftentimes the shooter is a former student. They already know about the security measures. They know about the guards. In the case of Buffalo, he already knew where that security guard was and already figured out he's going to be a problem. I'm going to neutralize him first. You know what really helps? When you have that element of surprise. In Uvalde, by the way, there was armed security, and guess what? They were busy chasing after a teacher when this guy went through an unlocked back door. Now, of course, the solution to that, if you ask Republicans, is, well, just remove all the doors. Only have one door. You're going to create a fire hazard, for one, and then you're going to create a tunnel situation. I mean, again, it's ridiculous, right? No, the best way to prevent a shooter is to stop him from getting a gun in the first place. Everything else is very, very reactionary, and it costs lives. Reactionary, you know, like, I don't know, Marjorie Greene, and also costs lives. Now, one more video here. It's probably the worst of it, because here she is trying to pretend that she actually gives a damn about the victims.
I think our children are our most important, precious resource that we have. Our children are our future. And so we should do everything we can to keep them safe at school and never, ever allow anything to happen to them or any parent to have to fear what may happen to my child when I drop them off at school in the morning or put them on the school bus. You know, we're praying for these families in Uvalde, but we also need to recognize that people are shot and killed all over the country in Democrat-controlled cities like Chicago, Atlanta, New York, you know, Detroit, and all over the place. There is a problem in our country, and it's called murder, and it's called crime. We need prosecutors that will prosecute people and put them away in jail, not let people off like they do so many times, and like they did when it comes to Democrat violence in the streets.
Ah, yes, we have a problem in this country. It's called murder and crime. Now, look, I'll give her one little point. One little crumb, right? So now she's actually points out that, yes, there are some places like in California that have let violent offenders go. I don't agree with that. I think if you've done violence, especially with a weapon, then you should be in jail. I think everybody should agree to that. That said, right, the rest of it, hogwash. It makes me sick to watch this person claim how she cares so much about children and then actually refuses to do anything about the #1 cause of death for children in this country. By the way, also, this is the same person who just hired Milo Yiannopoulos, who defended pedophilia. Just saying. Oh, but you don't understand, he's an ex-gay. Yeah, there's no such thing as an ex-gay. You can shove yourself as far in the closet as you want for a paycheck. That gay don't go away. And he knows it. They all know it. All right, but anyway, again, gun violence, getting back to that, it kills more kids in car accidents in this country. It's the #1 cause of death for young people. And then, of course, ignoring all of that, she goes and pivots over to the normal Republican talking point of, there's a lot of shootings in Detroit and Chicago. Yes, it turns out, there are a lot of people that are in those cities that are killed by gun violence. Which is why we're saying, why don't we do something? We should do something about the gun violence. That would be great. Wonderful. Oh, but then they say, oh, you see, but they already have gun control laws. So, those didn't work. So it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to say that, well, gun laws don't work because, yes, we've got gun laws in this particular city or in this particular state, but you could travel 15 minutes outside of the state and get as many guns as you want. Wait, hold on here. No, it turns out you need something more at the federal level. If you can drive across the border 15 minutes, and we're not talking about, the border to Mexico, right? Which, by the way, a lot of the guns being used by the drug cartels actually come from the United States, are being bought in the United States through straw purchases and being brought back over the border. So, we're actually feeding into that crisis in Mexico by our guns. Again, the United States is the biggest weapons manufacturer basically in the world. A lot of the guns in the world come from us. So, yeah, we're basically the gun capital of the world. But here's the thing, right? Yes, the majority of people in those cities, specifically New York, LA, Chicago, etc., right? Detroit. Well, a lot of them are black people that are being shot and killed. And there is gang violence, and that is a problem, right? Now, here's the thing. When it comes to Republicans, they don't want to do anything about it. They don't want to do anything on the federal level to make it harder for people in those states to go, I should say, to try to stop people in those states from going and getting guns in places where it's less regulated and then bringing them back to those cities to do violence. They don't want to do any sort of federal prohibitions because it might affect them just a little bit. And the other thing, of course, is that they see black people dying and think, I don't care. They're just black people. I don't want to do anything to solve that. Look, Marjorie Taylor Greene is a despicable person. I don't think she cares about the victims at all. So I think that she can take her thoughts and prayers and her, fake concerns and just shove them. And shove them somewhere else. Because what we are is we're sick of people like her allowing their children to be killed in their own classrooms because of how much they love their guns. And, of course, for the politicians, money for gun manufacturers. So, all right. LaRocca says Republicans get mad at the crime that happens in Mexico, which they support with their gun sales, and get mad when people migrate to find safety and stability. That is a fantastic point. They're great at pointing out these problems, right? And then advocating against actual solutions. All right, moving on. A Republican candidate in Arizona has been caught on video attacking a constituent for wearing a Black Lives Matter t-shirt at a Republican event. So now, Peter Jackson, no, not that Peter Jackson. Again, any Lord of the Rings fans, very upset, right? No, he recently went to a meet and greet, kegger, at the Continental shopping plaza. And this is an event that was featured by Republican candidate Blake Masters. So now the event was open to the public. So it's a public event. Apparently it costs $10 to get in to this open event, and sponsored by the United Republicans of Green Valley and Sahuarita, and held in the shopping center's conference room. So now this guy, Jackson, shows up wearing a Jail Trump hat and a Black Lives Matter t-shirt. Now, I think that happens to be free and protected speech, but apparently some people there found that to be a little confrontational. Their feelings were hurt. And while some were just cordially asking him, hey, you should probably go, you should probably leave, there were others there that were a little bit more forceful, and the situation easily devolved into this. Take a look.
You pay your $10?
She said that I can just listen.
Who did?
The lady
Nobody
behind.
said you don't have to pay. I paid. I paid. Who are you?
Huh?
You got a free, get in free?
How come everybody's lives don't matter? How come the unborn kids' lives don't matter? Yeah, go ahead and tape it. Put it on YouTube. Yeah, why don't you put it on yourself, you murdering damn bastard?
Who said that? Who said you could stay? Exit. Don't film me. Get out of here. Exit now.
He's our sergeant at arms, and he's asking you nicely to leave. Otherwise, I'm going to call the police. I am.
Yeah, you're a murderer. You're just like Biden.
You need to
Worry
leave.
about school kids, but let's murder the children that are not born.
You need to leave,
You damn hypocrite. You ought to be ashamed of
You need
yourself.
to leave. Sir, you need to leave. Angie Anderson and I are in charge of this event. You are not invited to this event. You need to leave now, or I am calling the police. So please leave.
The handout said that anybody could come.
And you
don't have to pay the $10.
It does not say that at all.
right.
Please leave.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to pay the $10.
Yeah, I asked you to leave. It's too late at this point. It's too late. Do not accept this money.
I'd like a
It's
ticket.
too late.
He doesn't get. He cannot stay.
They called 911. You better
You need
leave.
to leave. We called the sheriff.
Okay. I'd like to buy a ticket.
Get out.
I'd like to buy a ticket.
Get the hell out.
I'd like to buy a ticket.
Hey,
You're not welcome here. You're not welcome. Get out.
Okay, so not a very warm welcome. Okay, not a welcoming group of people. So look, I mean, they said you need to leave. You need to leave. Well, why? He just came in the door. Again, that video's up. He wasn't really doing anything. Wasn't harassing anyone. Of course, later on, they're like, "You're harassing all of us." But the event was technically supposed to be open to the public, and he's like, "Okay, look, if I need to buy a ticket, I'll buy a ticket. I mean, yeah, just kind of let me hang out here. That's fine." Apparently not good enough. Not good enough at all. And again, I know why he was there. We all know why he was there. He was there to challenge Republicans. You know what that's called? It's called freedom. Yes, I have a different political opinion than you. And if I want to show up to an event and have a conversation, I can do that. As long as I'm not being disruptive, right? I don't think this is any different from, for example, a conservative showing up to a liberal gathering. If you want to wear your Trump gear, you want to wear your Let's Go Brandon, I don't give a damn. You go ahead and wear your MAGA hat. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. As long as you want to sit and listen or engage in some respectful, light debate, totally fine. I welcome it. I welcome it. Go ahead. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. But see, for this guy, it didn't go that well. In fact, it gets worse. Here's the next video.
Put down your book. Put down your book.
No. Hey, no. Hey, get him out of here. Hey. Out.
You can't hit a woman. What the hell's wrong with you? Who do you think you are? Move. You know what? I'm a retired policeman. Your conduct is abhorrent. It's abhorrent. You're going to be arrested and charged with assault. You have no business here. Yeah, you better call me.
Okay, so now look, you saw it happen. Okay, But I'm going to slow this down. We're going to do a play-by-play here. And you're going to see what happened. Because they're saying, how dare you hit a woman? How dare you? I can't believe you would go and attack a woman like that. What kind of person are you? What kind of person are you? You're sick. You're sick person. How dare you? All right, well, we're going to see who hit who, right? So here it is. Here's the same video. Slow down. And by the way, you're going to see a quick, very, very quick cameo by Mr. Blake Masters. Here it is. So again, we've got it really slowed down. Here she is. Little shove there. Okay. And then she goes back, and there's the fist right to his face. He then deflects her arm, and then everyone else, I should say, you know, a few people, probably about 5 people, take him down. And there in the blue was Blake Masters. So I know that was kind of hard to see, but Masters had apparently put his hands around this man's neck and pushed him back. So now, again, he got thrown out the door, and then the people inside called the cops on him. And guess what? He got cited for trespassing and assault. He goes to court for this on July 1st. Wow. So now following the event, he talked to a reporter. Okay. Now, here's what he said. He said, I went in hoping to be allowed to witness the event and listen to the candidates and possibly share the video I was obviously taking. Post-event, I would like people to see that they're not rational people. They're really violent people. They're people Americans should be concerned about. Now, of course, the guy also had a little bit of self-awareness. Again, he was wearing a Black Lives Matter shirt. Black Lives Matter over white people's feelings, I think is what it said. And then, of course, a jail Trump hat. So now he said, yeah, okay, what I was wearing might have pissed some people off. But then added, I didn't want to get into a hassle. If I'm approached with reason, I would listen. But they were just telling me to get out. He then added that they were very confrontational, but then admitted that in a way I wanted to disrupt it a little bit with what I thought was the truth, that Trump should be jailed and that Black lives do matter. So look, yeah, did he have every right to be there? Of course he did. It's a public event. Again, if a Trump guy wearing a MAGA hat wants to show up in an AOC event, I don't give a damn, but whatever. Yeah, don't cause any trouble. This guy just showed up and immediately there was trouble. Again, not everybody there was like trying to be violent with him. There's a part in the video that I didn't show you. And again, it's a 9-minute video that he posted up. A guy comes up and is like, oh, what's that? Pointing to his camera. He's like, it's a GoPro. I'll go, what? A GoPro. It's a camera. Does it vote? No, but I vote. And then he walks away. A weird reaction, but okay. Sure. Again, other than that, they really wouldn't let him talk or even be there. Like, you got to get out. I'll pay the ticket. Yeah, it's $10. Let me be here. Nope. Again, if you're not causing problems, then you should be allowed to be there. Again, wearing whatever you want, it's free speech. It's called America. So look, for some of the people who, love to tell people to stop being snowflakes, some of them were acting like real snowflakes there. Now, afterwards, one of the people told him as he was on the ground, quote, "You're a disgrace to the human race. And you can't hit a woman. What's wrong with you? He's attacking a woman just like they attack innocent children. And you just hit a lady." Now, again, that's actually not what happened. The reporter also then contacted Blake Masters' campaign. Here's what they said, and this is a member of the campaign. Quote, a left-wing activist came to a Republican event, started harassing people, and then hit a woman. I intervened and put an end to that. He was subsequently detained by police and cited for assault. Let me be clear, if you come to an event I'm at and attack a woman, it's going to be a bad day for you. Okay, but wait a minute. He didn't harass anybody, at least not physically or with any words. I guess if you want to, you could say, well, his shirt harassed me by saying things that I don't like. Well, that's free speech. And again, didn't hit a woman, just defended himself. Like, as she was coming in for another swing, he deflected her hand away. That's defending himself, okay? It's not the same as striking another person, attacking them, or anything like that. So Blake Masters, in this situation, not only put his hands on someone, but completely lied about it. Lied about that situation. And again, the same with everybody who attacked Jackson at that event. They don't really give a damn about free speech, free expression, or even having conversations. Again, if you want to have conversations, and I've had plenty of conversations with right-wingers that happen to be respectful, even though we massively disagree. Apparently, you can't even do that now, at least in some places. Like the Republican event in Arizona, where they just will go absolutely crazy on you. This is the state of America. This is not good. All right. Jeez. All right. Let's see. Let's go to Super Chats here. That's all the stories that I have prepared for today. Let's see what we have here. And then I promise we'll get to Twitch too. The wonderful Twitch audience. And by the way, stay here because we're going to raid into someone else. Let's see. All right. Let's see. No super chats for today, unfortunately. But we do have some stuff on Twitch here. Devin, Michigan, thank you for subbing for a month at Tier 1. Really appreciate that. And Swift Turtle, thank you for subbing with Prime. Really, really appreciate that. That's fantastic. If you want to support us, of course, you can become a subscriber on Twitch. You can also become a patron, patreon.com/chefwaldorf, or you can send a super chat, become a member on YouTube, all different ways. Depressed Progressive, thank you for subbing for a month of Tier 1. Really appreciate that. For 5 months. For 5 months. Awesome. Let's see. Where is that? Captain Cornball says the right wing are stirring it up. They want the race war rather than a class war. Some of them certainly do. Madi Darnu, thank you for the very kind $2 super chat. Appreciate that. Very, very much appreciated, all of you. All right, so let's see. What do we raid into today? Left flank bets, Intifada are on, as well as the serfs. So, read Viking Gale's members chat. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Maybe it's in my membership tab. Nope, I don't see that. Where is it? Where is it? Maybe it just popped up. I don't know. I know, this is like the most awkward part of the show because I gotta navigate all this, all these tabs. Yeah, I don't know where Vitingale's comment is. So I can't really find it. All right. Okay, so there was another thing that I wanted to read though. Let me see if I can find that. Let's see. Twitch putting us to shame. I know, right? What's that all about? Oh, here we go. Let's see. Omega Shenron Dragon says, I like the stream. Glad I saw you on TYT a while back. You've got good takes. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. You need a glamorous assistant to distract while you look. Yeah, I know, right? Fat chance of that happening. I don't have anybody to... I don't have any money to hire people. All right. So... All right. I think we're going to raid into the serfs here. So we'll do that. Let's see. Member... see. Let's see. Shoot. Oh, if we can retire the use of Jesse Lee Peterson's beta, it's problematic. I know, but it's funny. Because it's so absolutely ridiculous, because the whole alpha beta nonsense stuff. It is absolute nonsense. Oh, did I see the Matthew McConaughey speech? Yes, it was good. It was good. It was very good. All right. Again, thank you for tuning in. Really, really appreciate you all. Please like and share the stream if you haven't already. Come back. We'll have another show tomorrow, of course, 4 p.m. Eastern, right here. And for everybody else who can't make the live stream, of course, go subscribe to our YouTube channel. Or, you know, like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitch. All these wonderful ways that you can support the channel. All right, everybody. Thank you. Love you. And remember, change begins with you. Good night, nation. Have a great night.
Dumps. Big, massive dumps.
I have not loved this conversation.
Sexual anarchy.
Obama. Disappointed.
They say, listen, how did you do that? Person, woman, man, camera, TV.
God bless you.
They're kicking me out the door. They're kicking me out the door.